Hi guys, so for this week we've got a whole bunch of small little things we have to finish because I need to get to some bigger projects. Here we can see the axe, the Fireman's axe that the customer brought me. He put a new handle on. I just stained it with some Rubio Castle Brown to make it a little bit darker, and I'm busy making a trophy for one of the guys at the fire brigade that is retiring. So you'll see that. Here I got some epoxy that I'm gonna cast the old breadboard, just the voids I'm gonna cast full and make it a nice board again for the customer. Here we've got two breadboards we're busy making, me and Coenraad, for a friend of his. On that one I'm also busy making a breadboard just as a gift for somebody. That one is an old breadboard that broke, that we're actually just fixing for a customer. And this is all the small little jobs I'm busy with this week. Now for the moment I must quickly make another 8 frames, I think, for that customer that pulls the canvases. So I'm quickly going to put all of this aside, make the 8 little frames, and then we'll get back to this one. The 8 frames is now done. I'm back to the trophy board. I've sanded the large board down to a 320 grit sandpaper, and it's very smooth. What I want to do now is the little block that I made for the blade to lie in. I just took a block, marked the profile, cut it out, and then routed a slot in there for the blade to lie in. The way I'm going to fix this now is I'm going to put a little bit of super glue and then wood glue, put it down where I want it exactly, let it dry, and then I'll countersink and drill from the back and screw it. So because it's quite critical for me where this thing is going to lie, I'm just going to use the super glue as a clamp before I start drilling and stuff, and maybe move it. The pencil mark's gone, and that should now do it. It's now stuck. Let's see if it's still in the right place. Perfect. So as a varnish, I'm using Woodworking 10, which is a polywax varnish. And the idea there, and it's actually Coenraad's idea, which was a brilliant idea, is we're gonna give this a very high gloss finish, so that the leather and the handle of the axe actually stands out quite a bit. And I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's gonna look very, very nice. So I'm gonna give it now one coat of the Woodworking 10. Then after that, I will give it a sand with a 320 grit sandpaper, give it another coat of Woodworking 10, then I will sand it again with a 400 grit sandpaper and give it then a final coat. And that should give it a very nice high gloss finish. I'll see you once I'm done. So while I'm waiting for the shelf or the trophy to dry, I'm going to quickly finish the little chopping board I'm making for a friend. That has to be 350 by 250. I'm just going to cut it to size quickly. It's white oak that I glued together, and I'm just going to get the sizes quickly together, and I'll show you in a second what this is going to be, or how this is going to be. I love the glue joint. It's in the final size. Just going to round over the corners quickly and then take it through the grits. And I must say, guys, it's such a pity Triton has left South Africa. It's one of the best routers that I know. It's got so many safety features, and except for that, you need one hand to change a bit on this machine. It's so comfortable to work with, so easy to work with, that it's really a lovely machine. The bit changes on this thing is absolutely amazing. How it works is, once you lift the tip above the bed, it locks the spindle automatically, and then you can just raise and lift the machine so easy, and it's got a very nice fine adjustment that you can fine adjust. And then also it would not allow you to change the router bit if the switch is on. You must put the switch off, otherwise it wouldn't allow you to change the bit. Once the machine is, the spindle is dropped again, then you can switch the machine on the back on, but then my other switch is still off. I absolutely adore this machine. Now 100 and 120, quickly a 150 and then a 180, and we can do it. So guys, how many of you knew that Rubio monocoat is actually food safe? So this is a cutting board for the customer that I also made a little coffee table for that goes over the ottoman. So it sounds like most of the furniture that you bought has got the same finish. So I thought, since Rubio monocoat comes food safe, I can then do a cutting board in the same color as the rest of the furniture, and I think that will be a nice gift. Please comment and tell me what you think. Once I'm done with this, I'll show you what it looks like. Same preparation. I sand it to 180 grit. Now I just rub it into the grain, leave it for 10 minutes, wipe off the excess, and then leave it to dry. I'll show you in a few minutes. So guys, the little chopping board that we did with the Rubio monocoat, that is now done. Tell me what you think of this finish. I like it quite a lot. I still use my little 3D printed pins, or what you call it, pyramids, when I do stuff like this, and it works a charm. It's something you can really get yourself. I think the board came out very, very nicely, and I think the customer will be happy. The job is now done. Let's get to the next one. So guys, back to the trophy board that we're going to mount the axe on. The first coat is dry, it's now the next day. And I just take a used 320 grit sandpaper, and I just give it a very, very, very light flat, just to get rid of the raised grain. There's not much, but there is some. So I really, really just rub it lightly, very lightly, with the 320. I'm going to do that now everywhere, as well as on the edges. Quite important. Once I'm done with that, I'll put the second coat. So guys, that's now the second coat done. You can start seeing the gloss coming through. So after this, we'll sand it again with the 320 and then give it another varnish. I give it very thin coats. I would rather come back and give it a fourth or maybe a fifth coat and make sure it's very smooth than sticking on a bunch of varnish and battling afterwards to get it smooth. So that's a second coat. We leave it now. It should be dry by this afternoon. Then we can give it a third coat. Something else I quickly have to get done is the 8 frames that I've built yesterday. I just want to sand all the corners, get them smooth, because it's quite important that the corners and all the joints are smooth. Because if they pull the canvas over and there's a little bit of unevenness, it actually shows in the canvas. So I'm just going to quickly go over all the corners, make sure they're nice and flush, and then I just, with the orbital sander, just give it a little bit of a round so it's not a very sharp corner. I'm quickly going to get that done and we'll talk again. So guys, just as a summary for this week, the trophy box is getting there. It's almost done. Another 2 coats maybe, and then some polishing. The 8 frames, the 8 window frames or wrapping frames, they are done, sanded, wrapped and ready for the customer. The little white oak chopping board, that's done. And then of course the casting, that will take another week or so, because I still have to finish the casting, sand it, polish it. This is going to take at least another week, but I'm looking forward to see the end result of this. But that's now the projects for the week. A bunch of small stuff we got done. Hopefully next week we can get to some bigger stuff again. So guys, this was a real haphazard week, all over the place, little bit of this, little bit of that. Bunch of small stuff, but that also has to be done. So I've got some small stuff out of the shop. There's still finishing to do here, and the casting will definitely take a while still. Sorry about that, but it needs to be done. There's always little small finicky things that needs to get out of the way before you can start getting to the bigger stuff. Next week, hopefully, I really hope I can next week start with a big office table that's standing outside now already for 2 weeks, that I have to do for a friend. I really need to get to that, and I want to get that done for him. I just wanted to first get some of the clutter out of the workshop, but hopefully it's much less next week. So guys, enjoy the week, have a great week, stay safe, stay healthy, see you next week.